Into order. If you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Ahrens, if you'd start with the roll call, since you're taking the minutes.
Yes.
Make sure to use your mic.
Chairperson Chris Brandt,
Here.
Vice Chair Mark Johns. Here. Greg Walther.
Here.
Jennifer Ahrens here. Sarah Corona, not present. Ann Himes.
Here.
Ryan Pearson.
Here.
And Tim Judd.
Great, and then as always, let's jump right in with meeting minute review from the February 25th meeting minutes. If anyone has any edits or corrections to the minutes provided by Commissioner Ahrens from last month. I had two quick typos that I noticed. Liaison has a between the L and the I. And at the end, adjournment has an N between the R and the M.
Okay, misspelling.
Picky, picky, picky. I feel like I'm being Greg Walther.
I know, you should. I sent him to you to review ahead of time. Ah, yes.
Mount Airy spelled wrong. It was Mount Airy, A-I-R-Y,
Right, yep.
Yeah.
section 2.
Section 2, third paragraph, second line.
Yeah, I'm sure that was a spell check that did that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't even read.
Yeah, it's auto spell check for sure.
Second page, third paragraph.
Last call for any other edits or corrections. Can I, yeah, motion to approve as noted. So I get a motion from Greg and get a second.
Second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, next is our public input section of the meeting. I know we have a few people here. I believe you are all here for the application, but if not, if you feel compelled to address the commission during the public input, you may approach the podium. Okay, so moving on to applications. We have one application before us tonight for a certificate of appropriateness, case number HPC 2025.03.01 is an application for a certificate of appropriateness to install a new awning on the west elevation, modify the existing south patio, and create a new patio to the west of the building at 690 Titus Avenue. We'll provide one clarification before we have the applicant come up and speak, which I believe all commission members are aware of. The applicant submitted a certificate of appropriateness seeking 6 items that are part of their project. They were all sort of numbered for clarity for our reference, 1 through 6. Items 1 through 3 were determined to be repairs in kind, and we provided a conditional approval for those repairs in kind to proceed before this public hearing for the certificate of appropriateness. So the format for tonight, the applicant will have the opportunity to present their project and provide any additional clarifications beyond their submitted materials. First, I have a maximum of 10 minutes. After the applicant has addressed the commission, any members of the public present who wish to speak for, against, or neither for the application in that order may approach the podium, and you have a maximum of 3 minutes to address the commission. After the public comments are closed, the applicant will have the opportunity to address any of the comments from the public, and then the board will deliberate and request any clarifications from the applicant before putting the application to a vote. So without further ado, would welcome the applicant to approach the podium. Please state your name and address, and then the mic is yours.
Good evening. My name is William Boneberg. Address in question 690 Titus Ave. I guess the awning is the one item that I want to discuss. Originally, I proposed a full-sized awning, go end to end. After consideration, after seeing the brick back up on the parapet, which is now back up, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's back up. Looks good, so I've decided to change direction a little bit and go with a shorter awning, which I think I proposed also, just so you can see that brickwork a little better. It would match the rear awning in size, so aesthetically it would be the same size as what's in the rear at 17 feet, and it would just cover over the door entrance rather than that full parapet, which would be more like this. This isn't the repaired parapet, but it would be a shorter awning like what's in the rear, which is being recovered. Then the name of the business, Capone's, would be inserted onto the awning, which is the new business gonna go into there.
For the signage, so in your early rendering where it's the full length of the awning, would the signage for Capone's essentially occupy the complete length of the shorter awning?
No, it would be an insert that is welded 22 by 12. It would not be the full awning, no. It would be
Okay.
just the center portion. I'm not sure the exact
Yep.
dimension of it. But it would be a sign insert that could be changed. That's really it on the awning. The outdoor seating that I'd like to pursue is outside of the same building, in front of the deli, in the area that's in front, 39 by, I guess it's 19.8 feet in front of the deli. I'd like to have seating, outdoor seating for the Capone's Deli. In doing so, I'd like to segment off that portion of the parking lot with planter bollards to designate that area as seating. The planter bollards would be a concrete in construction, a 2 by 36 or whatever is needed or required in order to do that.
Can you just repeat, I'm sorry, the size of the seating area? You said 18 foot by,
The area in front of the deli is 20 by 39.
okay.
That's really all I have as far as information on my end right now.
For the seating in front of the coffee shop, same bollards, I assume?
In front of the shop, there's already seating.
Okay,
It's already established, it's fenced
right, it's got a
off.
fence around it?
Yeah,
You're just gonna
that's-
leave it as is?
Yeah, just
Okay,
as is.
great. One other, just quick clarification. So the bollard's 2 foot by 3 foot, is it 2 foot high by 3 foot in diameter?
Foot in diameter,
Okay.
correct.
Thank you.
And they would be a planter bollard, so you can put a tree or some kind of flowers,
Right,
aesthetically pleasing.
okay.
Just curious, is there gonna no
Make sure
longer
to turn
be,
mic.
is there gonna no longer be egress, like to go through there now? Like when those chairs are all in there?
There still be ingress egress through the alley, but not in front of the deli. No.
Not in front of there, okay.
Yes, that would be cordoned off.
Okay.
So will the entrance to the south of that also be blocked off by planter bollards? So there's currently a driveway.
Yeah, the driveway will still continue through to around back of the building.
No,
from
not that, the one to the south, closer to the corner?
by the tavern.
Yes,
Yeah, so that will be one parking spot, which is usually parking for
Will
the tavern.
remain.
Yeah,
okay.
that will remain.
And the same size bollards will be used
On both
coffee
sides.
shop and at the deli.
Coffee shop, I'm not doing anything different. It's going to remain the same. Just the deli.
Okay.
So this,
Right, so strike that rendering there, yeah. I guess last quick question I had for you. I know that we had deferred a bit to some feedback from the planning staff. Did they have any issues with the occupying the former drive area there in front of the deli?
I'm unaware if they
Okay,
are not yet. I wanted to clear it here and
okay, great,
then proceed.
all right.
I like the fact you reduced the awning, so we can
Yeah.
see the brick now.
Yeah, after I've seen it rebuilt, after it's all back up, it is a nice look and statement. I
Yeah, I thought it was
to
a
cover
shame
it all up.
hiding
Yeah.
it all again.
Great, thank you.
Right.
are we approving the signage right now or
The-
tonight? The signage, like the lettering for the Capone? Because,
If we want to get into that, it's only on the awning itself though,
okay.
so
Is that part of our review process?
we don't really have, standards for
Oh, okay.
signage, so,
Okay, then forget it. Okay.
thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, if there are any members of the public wishing to speak in favor of this application, I request you approach the podium, please state your name and address. And again, you have 3 minutes to address the commission.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ann Burns. I live at 199 Bellhurst Drive. I'm here this evening as co-chair of Helping Arundecoit Plan for Progress. We are a community stakeholder group that has worked tirelessly for over 25 years for the renaissance and the economic improvement of the Titus Cooper Hudson Mixed-Use District. And we are here tonight in support of this application by Mr. Bohnberg. We commend the applicant's attention to detail, his decision to purchase this important building at the four corners of Titus and Cooper to bring local businesses, Capone's Italian Eatery and the Little Bits Coffee, to join the Titus Tavern to write the next chapter of this historic structure. And the community is very, very much looking forward to the arrival of these businesses. We have several questions and compliments related to the renovation. We appreciate the applicant working with the Preservation Commission to select the brick to achieve that current look, to rebuild that brick parapet. It really is, it's stunning. It looks spectacular. The mixture of the colors, and then just having it come together late last week was fun to watch. The building awnings, we appreciate you refreshing and updating the existing black awnings on the west and the south side of the building, and for using the existing framing to limit the unnecessary waste. And now the proposed 17-foot awning to go up above the entrance to Capone's will be a very attractive addition to the streetscape. And the design and the coloring of the Little Bits Coffee will also add elegant style and positive drama to this corner. Again, we thank you for reusing the existing framing as well for this awning. One question we have is if the awnings will be lit at all. either exterior or interior. There was nothing in the application about that, so we just have that one question on the awnings. In terms of painting the exterior of the building, we also appreciate the applicant updating the exterior paint on the building. We wanted to ask what color is going to be used, and if this repainting includes covering the community artistic Four Seasons mural that's on the east wall of the building. Mr. Bohnberg had indicated in press releases he was interested in having a new mural painted by a local artist to replace the Four Seasons. And we just wanted to say that our HIP group and the community are happy to work with Mr. Bohnberg to bring another mural to life to replace this public, very popular public art piece. HIP has a number of public art installations in the neighborhood, and we have the 5 traffic box murals, which inspired other similar murals throughout Monroe County. We were the first to come up with that idea and go to Monroe County and sort of lay the groundwork for those. Other murals in Arundecoit that have been done recently include the Shamrock Jacks mural down there on the restaurant on the north side, and then the mural that was just completed up at Seabreeze Bowl by Caitlin Roney, so from the Arundecoit Arts Center. So we just would like to offer assistance with that if that's in keeping with what the plan is. In terms of the patio areas, both of those will make these gathering spaces for the community on this very visible corner. They're going to be hot tickets. They're going to be really fun to see the community gathering. And we're pleased because that patio that's proposed for the west side will help eliminate some conflicts between autos and pedestrians that occur there currently. So it'll make it safer for pedestrians. We also wanted to offer bike racks. HIP has 2 red bicycle-shaped bike racks that were purchased through a public grant and were previously installed on either side of the west door at the Cooper Deli. And we'd like to offer these for reinstallation to the applicant. There's already existing concrete pads there. So those are an offer as well. We just want to thank everybody for being here and the applicant for their investment in this important property. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor of this application from the public? Is there anyone that would like to speak against this application? Is there anyone here who is neither for nor against this project but would like to address the commission about it? Okay. Mr. Bohnberg, do you want to address any of the questions? The only 2 that I really wrote down, the only one we really would have for you specifically is the lighting, and I just want to confirm what I believe I know is the case for this. But if you could return to the podium briefly.
So as far as the lighting, in the rear, there's already a backlit fluorescent on that awning that's going to remain in place. On the Cooper side, the new awning, I was going to propose just the teardrop lighting over the awning like it is with the Titus Tavern sign.
Okay.
So it would match the same type of lighting.
Gotcha. Do any other members of the commission have additional questions for the applicant after the public input? Okay.
Is the mural a sure thing, or
Yeah, so the mural I would definitely like to restore or replace. It is in disrepair. It's flaking pretty bad in a lot of places, so the building is in need of recovering. And the mural I would like to secure or look for somebody else to put a mural back on. And I'd like to have it tied to the community.
that be something we would have?
No, yeah, I think it's a great gesture to interact and collaborate with members of the community. I would definitely encourage you to do that just from a general sense for the benefit of Arundecoit. But as far as the commission's concerned, I think, like we've all already communicated with you, that what we're mainly concerned with is changes in the physical finish. So if it's an existing surface that's already painted, you can repaint it. We have no oversight or review for paint colors, paint configuration. Where we would be concerned as if we were painting brick that had never been painted. But yeah, I would encourage you to collaborate with the community, but it's not under our purview. Anyone else? Okay. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the application with the following clarifications provided at the meeting. First, that the submitted patio renovation in front of Little Bits Coffee has been omitted from the application. And that new lighting that was not provided in the application is proposed to similarly match that at the Titus Tavern. If I can get a second, we can open that up to discussion.
Second.
Okay. Now, maybe field discussion if we have any other adjustments, changes, deliberation between members. You're welcome to sit down.
I think the other change was the awning
Right,
size
yeah,
change.
correct.
Yeah, that change is fine with me.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. So I will amend that motion, the discussion. So per discussion, move to approve the application as submitted and amended in this meeting with the following changes. One, that the patio renovation in front of the Little Bits Coffee Shop on the south elevation of the building is omitted from the application. That the new proposed awning on the east elevation, on the west elevation of the building on Capone's Deli is to be shortened and aligned with the existing storefront opening to reveal more of the parapet. And third, that lighting matching the type and configuration of the existing lighting over the Titus Tavern sign be installed over the Capone's Deli awning. Anyone want to second that?
Second.
Okay. All right. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Unanimously approved. We'll get you a written approval this week. Thanks you very much, William. Thank you for your collaboration with the board. It's really a breath of fresh air. So we appreciate it.
Best of luck to you.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much. This is a win
Yeah.
for preservation.
Okay, next on to correspondence. The only correspondence that I've received pertains to one of our old business items. So I will get into that when we get to old business. Tim, have you received any correspondence regarding the commission? Okay. And then to the liaison report. Tim, do you have anything to share or report to the commission?
No, just that adventure I had today going to check out the different districts and after that stuff.
Yep.
It was an interesting day today.
Great. Okay, so now on to old business. First item of old business, the townwide historic resource survey. I have a update to provide on this. The consultant KTA preservation specialist continues to move forward with their work. They are scheduled to provide a final draft to the commission and to the State Historic Preservation Office for our review this week. Initially, it was supposed to come yesterday. It hasn't come yet.
So we have to re-review everything?
You got it.
It would be more thorough, complete, so we can actually really
It's
review
just
it.
more work now.
Right.
You know, that's what I wanted to prevent.
Yeah.
We didn't have to do that. So they didn't get any comment. Any of our
Well,
comments.
once I got that from him, that's why I told everyone just stop, because I didn't want to have, Mark was on the ball and provided a lot of great detailed feedback, but I wanted to save everyone else from being too on the ball like Mark. The other update or reminder that I've got is that the commission needs to coordinate and start to schedule our additional fieldwork photography for the proposed historic districts in the town. And then as a general FYI for the public tuning in and watching either now or watching later, you may see members of the commission out early this spring taking photographs of streetscapes. So streetscapes are often a photograph of a grouping of a number of buildings, not individual buildings, but to capture the essence and nature of the sort of street composition and massing. And this is part of the documentation that's often required for determining if potential districts within the town may be eligible for listing on the National Register of Historic Places. And that's going to be one of the primary benefits for this townwide historic resource survey, is that it will enable the commission to proactively pursue additional National Register historic districts in the town. As some may be aware, the commission successfully got our very first district in the town listed at the tail end of last year, and we hope to provide those opportunities for historic tax credits to many hundreds, if not thousands, of homeowners in the town. So that's more to come, but in the immediate term, you may see some of us taking photographs on the streets where you live.
So to be clear, you're expecting that this week?
Right, yeah.
And will you review it first? I don't mean in depth, but just make sure that everything is filled out and there's not to be determined later or
Yeah, I can do that.
classification, all that stuff that was missing in the first draft.
Yep.
So that we can do it one more
Yes.
time. And we'll have all the districts revealed.
They
this
should,
time.
yeah. Yeah, because often because they are teaming up with their official review by SHPO would kick it back to them if the sort of final draft didn't have all of that in the draft.
And then, as you know, we had some comments on some of the district sizes and things.
Right, yeah.
What if we disagree and SHPO's already approved it? I mean, how does that work? If SHPO's getting it at the same time that we're
Right.
getting it?
I think if that's the case, and we do know who the staff members would be that would be reviewing, we can certainly have them as like a third party. And if we have concerns or comments, we can provide those to the consultant, but sort of CC or indicate our desire that we want to sort of CC SHPO into our comments, that we can have a more active communication. SHPO may also just offer to meet with us potentially. That would be the most ideal, in my opinion, if we could actually get a Zoom meeting together between the three parties to go through concerns and comments.
Because there was, we disagreed on some of the district sizes and making it useful for us and not necessarily SHPO. But there seemed to be some things that weren't, at least when I reviewed it, weren't logical in the determination from the little bit that was there. Like some things were in a district, but then they said, well, although it's historic and it's in this district, we're excluding it. So I just wondered, what was the rationale behind that? Can we apply that same rationale to some of the larger districts in order to parcel them into smaller districts too? So
Right.
without having them have seen that and having any kind of response to that, it's still, it's a big question out there,
Yeah,
you know, as far like the St. Paul one, obviously.
yeah.
That's a big one, so. I don't know if we can maybe just get an answer, a quick, oh, by the way, this was one of the earlier comments we had. Answer that so we're armed with that when we do our final review of the whole thing.
Yeah, no. They-
And I can tell you which, it was the Laurel District, the Laurelton District, they
Right.
had they excluded some portions out of it, which made no sense to me. So I
Are
said,
you talking where it said ineligible?
no, it said that it was, although they're historic and although they were at the same time, we're excluding them. And it's like, they didn't say why, and I said, well, can't we do the same for St. Paul then? Because it's just so big, it's not gonna do us any good. I mean, other than having the tax credits, and I know it, but
Right.
still, it's huge. Even to do what we did for Wimbledon, it's huge.
Right.
It would never happen.
Well, I think that, I mean, a district of that size, I think like we discussed, it would be a consultant project that we would seek grant funding for, but
Never happen.
still would be a concern because the district is so big, the consultant fee would be so high, we may not be able to
Yeah,
get grant
it's
funding.
3 or 4, you could do one, you know.
They're
But
different eras
we'd never get
too.
$100,000 or $200,000 to do one study. I don't see that.
Yeah,
In my 40 years, I don't see that. You know,
Yeah.
experience, I haven't seen that. So I just don't think it's useful for us. So that's all. I just want to make it more useful for us.
So Chris,
Realistic.
you're mentioning we need to take photos. Do we know what the districts are, or
The-
do we have to wait for this?
we're gonna have to, I mean, we can jump on it preemptively, because at least the 3 that they provided, they did indicate where they wanted photographs taken.
that's
So we could
those
start,
figures.
right, yeah, so we can start with those now,
Okay.
but there's likely gonna be more district maps that look just like that, that'll be coming in this final draft, that will also have photos that we'll need to
That's
take.
very helpful.
Yeah.
I thought those were ones that they were going to provide, but
No.
we're taking it.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense.
In Seabreeze, is that, do we need to get, need to get an approval to get in there? I don't know.
Yeah, that's more of, yeah, we're gonna have to figure out, that's a particularly challenging one.
Or wait till Memorial Day.
Tons of people.
Yeah, that one's difficult, because it's like, it's so big, or at least the way they're proposing it, it's a district, but it's challenging because it's also just a parcel, which is odd.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that might be where.
that one may be one that, yeah, we're at the table, we will likely have to either talk to SHPO first about how they would prefer that approached, and then once we have that information, then reach out to the property owner to talk about the potential for photography for it.
Yeah, Greg knows him. Greg, we talked.
We met with him once.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's in our neighborhood.
make sure you use your mic.
I will glom on to the Laurelton neighborhood.
Okay,
Are we gonna do the same thing where we sign in?
yeah, I think that would be good.
Commission members.
And when are those supposed to be done, do you know?
They need to be done in time for them to wrap up the final report. The drop dead date that the final report has to be into SHPO to comply with our grant funding is the end of September. So there's time, but we don't want to press it too much.
Because the leaves coming out. in the trees.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, so the photography ideally should be done in the next month.
So what's priority, reviewing the report or taking the photos?
Probably reviewing the report and then,
If we get it tomorrow.
right, yeah, and then photos when we can, but
Should
hopefully,
we do the Seabreeze photos before the park opens?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Are you gonna go with me again?
I can go with you, or
You want me to call
or-
John?
I'm happy to go, yeah,
I don't even know if I still have his number, I gotta try to find,
okay.
I'll figure it out. I'm good with that stuff. I'll track him down. So you do wanna try to get in there in the spring before,
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
cause they're gonna be so busy, like, at the beginning, especially at the beginning of the season. Like,
Right.
He's not gonna wanna deal with that.
Yes, yeah, I would say soon. So I was involved.
Make sure to use your mic. Yeah.
I was involved with the city of Canandaigua. We were the consultant, well, we and the Landmark Society were the consultants to the city of Canandaigua when they did their boundary survey. And Sarah Linda Hooker is a local historian who is like us, the board member, reviewing the report. And I thought their interaction was really very well done. She exhaustively reviewed the report and had so much to add. So I think there is a way that we can be helpful. It's just we need more information, I think, before we get to the level where she was giving the kind of feedback that she
You
was
mean a
giving.
complete draft?
Yeah.
Right.
So yes, I do think it's important that that's a priority to have that.
So
And
when
some of
you're
the,
saying-
go ahead.
When you're saying this is a final draft, there's still opportunity for significant changes based on our feedback because
Right.
we haven't really been able to give it yet.
Correct. Yeah, and that's similar to that. This will be the first time that SHPO is really seeing the full product, and they will likely have their own comments and requests for changes. So yeah, there will also be stuff that they're going to have to incorporate and rearrange from the state's feedback as well.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work, like, between theirs and ours. We're not seeing theirs, they're not seeing ours.
Right, although the feedback's coming from two different perspectives. So the state's going to be more focused on the sort of structure and logic as far as like how they might be determining the boundaries and how they've structured the sort of overall narrative and identifying themes. Whereas we're coming from the local perspective where we may have more specific feedback on the like we've gotten into the specific, like breaking up this district, this large district on St. Paul, or issues with particular individual landmarks or gaps in the history and narrative that we've notified that, you know, people in Albany that have never lived in Irondequoit are never going to pick up. So we're kind of coming at it from two different sides. So there may be some overlap, but it's not going to necessarily be sort of two ships passing in the night. It's sort of two different fronts of feedback.
No, but we could be adding things that we think are significant and then SHPO wouldn't have an opportunity to comment on that.
Right.
We have a lot more local people and parcels, farmlands that we wanted to add that they didn't have originally. So, you know, that's something I think SHPO would want to review
Yeah.
or have some input on. Do you know if SHPO reviewed the partial draft and already gave their comments?
No, they didn't yet. I got that confirmation. SHPO's not seen it yet.
Okay, so this will be the first time they're
Right.
seeing it?
Correct.
Final draft?
Yep.
Okay.
Anything else on the townwide historic resource survey? Okay, landmark property plaques. Mark worked hard, got a order together. It's just on me to communicate with the comptroller at the town, but we should be proceeding this month with ordering 6, right? Yeah.
All 6 in,
All 6, and it,
your budget.
under budget by a few dollars, like $20 under budget. So those will be coming out soon.
So I just need the list from you, which ones, and like some of them have conflicting dates. We
Right.
have to settle on that.
Yeah. And then I also have another update with moving out of the draft revised code. The town staff has taken an initial look at it. We have a meeting set up for next week. Mark, you're welcome to come if you're available. But it'll be a meeting between a member of town board, Michelle Nichols and Bill Lang at the town, to field some initial questions or clarifications they need.
Not the
for,
lawyer.
not to my knowledge. I think this is just initial feedback or reactions from the building department.
And when's the meeting?
Meeting is,
Did I get an email?
yeah,
I
yeah.
forget, I'll look it up.
Okay. And then the last one I got on here, I know we've been doing a lot, so I don't expect an update, but just to check in, Mark, if you've made any headway with Wimbledon Road. Yeah.
the plaques.
Okay, good.
I'll move on to the plaques now for that now.
Chris, I'm sorry, can you repeat Michelle Nichols and Bill?
Bill Lang.
Okay.
Okay. We don't have any new business items unless anyone wants to make a change or amendment to the agenda. Okay, and then under good and welfare, I'll just make another friendly reminder. The New York State Historic Preservation Conference is happening Tuesday, May 6th through Thursday, May 8th. The scholarships are available for all members of the commission, as well as staff, if our historian is so interested in potentially going to Poughkeepsie. But yeah, staff and commission members of CLG communities are welcome to apply for the scholarships, which will entitle you to free attendance at the preservation conference. Unfortunately, it doesn't cover your hotel, but it will get you into the conference for free. And the only requirement is that you need to attend the sort of 5-hour commission training if you receive a CLG scholarship, and then you can elect to stay for the rest of the conference or for just the following day. I know I will be there at least through the end of Wednesday for the conference.
And can you review again what our requirements are for the continuing education, being in the board?
Right, so at least as we've drafted in our new code, because there is currently, there's no requirement in our current code, but there is a requirement from the state. Generally from the state, we are required to receive training yearly, though they don't stipulate the hours. But in our new code, we did stipulate, I believe, we'd have to double check if I'm wrong, I think we said 4 hours a year in our new code. And they do ask us that every year when we provide our yearly audit or report to the state.
Did we provide that for 2024 yet?
No, I'm still working on it. But they know, and they're not agitating for it yet.
And didn't we have in our revised code that only a certain percentage of the board had to do it yearly, so it wasn't a burden, like every year everybody had to do it?
I thought we were trying to put it in so if you're certified through New York State for a license for architecture, lawyer, realtor, like you can use your New York State requirements, right? Or are we going to try to?
I know we talked about that, but I don't know if some of it's directly.
I think Chris didn't think that was gonna go over with
I mean,
the
it might
state.
more with like
Architecture.
And real estate too. I mean, I'm learning about property laws, all that stuff.
historic, like
It was historic.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty congruent, I would, at the very least.
that would be good.
Yeah, but we have a paragraph here that describes the training. It's a little open-ended, but it says, 4 hours of training each year, designed to enable such members to more effectively carry out their duties. Training received by a member in excess of the 4 hours in any 1 year may be carried over into succeeding years in order to meet this requirement. Such training may include, but not be limited to, training provided by a municipality, regional or county planning office or commission, historic preservation advocacy organization, state agency, statewide municipal association, college, or other similar entity. Training can be provided in multiple formats. Yeah, so we don't go beyond that. I think I had sort of punted on that one because I was worried that SHPO would likely say no and strike it. But if we want to ask the question of SHPO, but
So-
my gut says they'll say no.
So what happens if we don't poke the bear?
Chris,
I mean, do we have to come up with some class? Like, what is it? What do we have to actually do? I mean, is there actually CLG class that's a...
Yes, and we tried to get funding for that this year and we didn't get it. There is commission training that can be done virtually. That is CLG approved, but we did not get the funding in the budget to do it this year.
Because we'd have to be a member of that alliance.
Correct, yeah.
And this town isn't like automatically one because we're a CLG. We're not automatic members,
No,
We get to be members though when we attend the CLG.
but we have to attend it.
correct.
Yes, he wouldn't be able to do it if he doesn't go. But if he goes, he already gets a drink. You know what I mean? It doesn't help that people that don't go. Too bad that a town couldn't be a member for free.
I think it's worth probably asking the state then.
How do they do upstate, downstate every other year?
For the, yeah,
Preservation conference?
yes,
Is that
yeah, so
every
it'll be
year?
back in Western New York next year.
So then that's a good opportunity to go because then you don't have to pay for hotels and you get to go for free. It's just you have to take off time from work. But for that whole half a day or a day, what was it, half a day?
It was a little, yeah, a little over half a day,
Yeah, you get all the credits you would need for one.
right?
Lunch.
Really selling it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to go. Who's going? You're going, Chris, obviously.
I'm going, I think Jennifer's going.
Mark, you going?
I'm probably gonna go.
Yeah, in DC.
But that can be something I can ask our staff person at SHPO, who's our CLG staff person, see if they have any pre-programmed training or if there's other options aside from the expensive professional training that we tried to get funding for.
Online class or something.
Right.
I would hope.
Well, we could share our free membership once we get
Yeah,
it.
we could
Yeah.
do that, yeah.
Then you can take the courses
Mm-hmm.
online. Unless it comes in our names and not his.
Okay, anything else for good and welfare? All right, can I get a motion to adjourn at 8:18 PM?
Motion to adjourn?
Get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone.